UTP is the best choice for the endless opportunities it offers. I choose UTP. Join me now.
Play with me anymore. That's how it goes.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day, everyone. Welcome to UTP's first ever virtual open day. We're embracing the new normal, so things are going to be a little bit different today. And for my slot, I will be talking about Center for Foundation Studies, a day in the life of a foundation student. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Jasmin Hassan. My students call me Madam Jasmin, and I am the coordinator of Foundation Humanities. I have been teaching since 2008 and first joined UTP in 2011 as an English tutor. I then went on to become a part-time lecturer teaching Foundation English as well as professional communication skills for the undergraduates. In 2016, I joined Center for Foundation Studies as a full-time lecturer and later became the coordinator of Foundation Humanities in 2018. Okay, about the center. The Center for Foundation Studies is very dear to me. It is something that I am quite attached to as I've been teaching foundation students since 2011. So it's kind of not fair actually, because my students are forever 18 or sometimes as young as 16, and years go by and my age increases. Well, talk about age gap. But anyways, the years have been good to me, and throughout these years I have been able to watch my students grow, which is why I love being a part of their pre-university education to help them find themselves before they go into undergraduate studies. So the foundation studies itself have been in existence since 2003, quite early on. Before that, all undergraduate programs were 5 years, and later on they insisted that our undergraduate students must do at least 1 year of pre-university studies, and so we established the foundation studies in 2003, and in 2012 it was parked under Fundamental of Applied Sciences department for a few years. Finally, in 2016, the center was established, or it became a center of its own. We have perpetual accreditation from the MQA, and I believe that this is very important information so that you know that what you're studying actually holds value and is recognized. That is very important when you are choosing a place for you to study. Alright, location-wise, we are currently at Block J3 on the first floor. It used to be the old CIMAL. I will show you a picture later of what J3 looks like if I can find it. I hope I can. But if you can't, when you ever visit UTP physically, I hope one day soon, Block J3 is right next to Chancellor Hall and is opposite Sital Multipurpose Hall. You can't miss it. Alright, now we'll get into business. We'll talk about the academic side of the Center for Foundation Studies. Now, in stages of formal education, of course, first you have your primary education, followed by your secondary education, and then your tertiary education. Your tertiary education is then divided into 3 parts: pre-university or STPM, matriculation, foundation studies, undergraduate studies, and if you prefer, later your postgraduate studies. Now, foundation studies is typically 1 to 2 years, but in UTP, our foundation studies is about 1 year. I say about 1 year because we do have some leeway here and there just in case. Okay, so the main thing, the most important thing that I would like to highlight about UTP's foundation studies is that it is the main feeder for UTP's undergraduate programs. What this basically means is that about 90% or more of our foundation students will later progress into undergraduate studies in UTP itself. So we have 3 streams, which are the engineering and science stream, the computer science stream, and then the technology and business management stream. Now under engineering and science, we have chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, petroleum engineering, civil engineering, computer engineering, electrical and electronics engineering, and material engineering. For sciences, we have applied physics, applied chemistry, and petroleum geoscience. For computer science, we just have computer science, and under technology and business management stream, we have business management, information systems, information technology. I know that's a lot to process at the moment, but what this basically means is when you receive an offer for our foundation program, it will immediately state which programs you will be offered later for your undergraduate. Therefore, the offer for our foundation studies is sort of a conditional offer into our undergraduate program as well. In simple terms, if you have been offered foundation program in engineering and science stream, bracket chemical engineering, this means once you're done with foundation studies, you will then proceed into Bachelor of Engineering in Chemical Engineering UTP. That might create some panic here and there, but don't worry, I will answer some FAQs after this. So we have quite a few programs, quite wide, but as you can see, we're also niche towards engineering, sciences, technology, and business management. So anything other than this, we currently are not offering, because University Technology Petronas is quite niche in its courses. Right, so what are the minimum requirements? When we talk about minimum requirements into UTP, I will focus more on SPM, as majority of our students are from SPM schools, although we do allow students from O levels as well to join us. So it's called the minimum entry requirements. So this is the minimum requirement to apply into UTP. Of course, whether or not you are offered this program will depend on a multitude of other factors. So under engineering and science stream, you need to pass with minimum C credits in Bahasa Melayu, English, mathematics, maths, physics, and chemistry. Okay, I'll repeat that again, but don't worry if you did not catch me there. I will share with you the slides later, a quick pop-up of what our minimum entry requirements are. BM, English, mathematics, modern mathematics, maths, physics, and chemistry. For computer science is a little bit special. Also minimum credits, but in BM, English, maths, maths, and 2 other non-language subjects. So it could be accounting, it could be economics, it could be drawings, it could be history, any other 2 subjects, a minimum credit. And for technology and business management, similar, except that you need BM again, Bahasa Melayu, English, mathematics, and 2 non-language subjects. Alright, don't worry, we did not catch what I said. I will again state that I will share a brief slide of the minimum entry requirements. So how do you apply to enter Center for Foundation Studies? Now we have intakes in January, May and September. So our September intake for 2020 is already open. You can go to our website at www.utp.edu.my and you can just click apply now. Alright, that is for the September intake. And if you decide to join next year, so if you are prospective SPM students, we understand that SPM has been pushed forward due to the pandemic, and that's okay. You can later apply using your exam trial results. If your exam trial results meet our minimum requirement, a conditional offer will be given. Conditional offer means when the actual SPM results come out and it satisfies the minimum entry, then the offer is valid. If not, the offer will be null and void. Okay. So again, go to our website at www.utp.edu.my to apply. The website will also once again reiterate the minimum requirements that you need to apply for UTP. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the semester or the year structure. For foundation studies, students must complete a total of 50 credit hours. Now, the credit hours will be arranged into 3 trimesters: trimester 1, trimester 2, and trimester 3. Now for foundation, we typically have chosen the subjects that you will need to take every semester. This is because to ensure that preconditions are met. For example, we have physics 1 followed by physics 2, so you can't take physics 2 first and then go back to physics 1. So for trimester 1, you have 14 weeks of lecture, 14 weeks of studies, 12 of which will be your lecture weeks, and another 2 weeks dedicated to study week and your final examination. The same goes for trimester 2 and trimester 3, which will result in a total of 42 weeks of studies. You have about 3 to 4 weeks in between semesters and a different number of credits every semester. Of course, these credit hours are recommendations. For special cases, we do allow you to take less subjects or maybe more subjects, but again, this is subject to approval from the center, the dean specifically. Okay, let me recap that again. You will have 14 academic weeks, 12 for lectures, and 2 for study week and final examinations. Now, because of the pandemic, things have changed a little bit. I think as school calendars change, our calendars have also changed. So this might mean that there might be less time in between the trimesters because we want to ensure that our students can join the undergraduate programs on time. The amount of time for studies will still remain the same. It will still be 12 plus 2, but the breaks in between might differ a little bit. So basically, it will be 1 full year in UTP during your foundation studies. Okay. The courses in the foundation program. The courses in foundation program, based on what I read, through my students based on their perceptions, based on my discussions with my students. The courses you will take in foundation program is basically an extension of the courses you have already learned in school. So physics, yes, so you'll be learning an extension of that. Chemistry, an extension of your chemistry, and maths as well. So this will set the foundation for you to later progress into undergraduate studies. Therefore, you need to ensure that your understanding at school level is relatively strong for you to be able to cope with the subjects in our foundation studies. So for the science, engineering and sciences streams, you have 35 credit hours of core courses, which includes physics, chemistry, maths, as well as structured algorithm and programming. Yes, we do have programming for our sciences and engineering students. For our technology and business management stream, you will have also 35 credit hours of core courses, which includes quantitative analysis, which is basically mathematics, principles of economics, business management, introduction to business information systems, visual programming, and structured algorithm and programming. Sounds like a lot, but we will arrange it in such a way that you won't feel burdened. For computer science, you will be a little bit special again. You will take similar subjects to the technology and business management stream, but instead of quantitative analysis, you will be taking mathematics, the same as engineering and sciences students. That is why earlier when I talked about the minimum requirements for computer sciences, you must have strong fundamentals in maths to be able to proceed into computer science. Okay, 35 credit hours for core courses, and the remaining 15 credit hours will be non-core courses. Although they are non-core courses, they are still compulsory subjects. You still must take them all. So you will have proficiency English, technical English, Islamic or moral studies, thinking skills, and 2 classes of co-curriculum done in separate semesters. So in total, you will be taking 50 credit hours. Now, I would like to restate, it is important for you as a foundation student to complete all 50 credit hours. If you do not complete the 50 credit hours, you will have to extend to complete it before you can further your studies in our undergraduate programs. So you must complete it. You must make sure you do all the subjects we have given you. Like I said, you can't really choose your subjects except for co-curriculum. We have quite a variety of co-curricular activities to choose from. Okay, I think this will also be quite important to know, the curriculum structure, because I think I've mentioned the subjects just now. So how are we going to arrange it? So we call our semesters T1, T2, T3, which is basically trimester 1, trimester 2, trimester 3. Now different batches will start with different T's. So for example, the May semester will start with T1 subjects. T1 subjects are Chemistry 1, Physics 1, Mathematics 1, Proficiency English for the engineering and science students, and then Principle of Economics, Business Management, Quantitative Analysis, and Proficiency English again for the technology and business management students. Computer science, as I mentioned just now, just change your quantitative analysis to maths. Okay, this will follow T3, which will be Chem 2, Physics 2, Maths 2, and co-curriculum, For the technology and business management as well as computer science, you'll be doing visual programming, quantitative analysis 2 or maths 2, and then later introduction to business information systems, and lastly co-curriculum. Okay, so that will be a total of 16 credit hours in your T3, and you will end with T2 subjects, which are thinking skills, Islamic or moral studies, technical English, co-curriculum, and structured algorithm and programming. T2 is the same for all students: engineering, science, technology, and business management. Okay? Don't worry again about the subjects. It might sound a little bit, I don't know, intimidating for some, or maybe you feel a bit more confident when you hear familiar subjects being taught. But don't worry, we have really good lecturers on board, and we do make sure that our students pass with flying colors. As long as you are serious about your studies, you try to perform well, you put in extra effort when necessary, and most importantly, you pay attention in class, you should be fine. So what's the assessment structure in UTP? Now, usually our courses are 50-50, meaning 50% coursework and 50% final exams. Now this will be a bit different to a lot of other institutions. For example, say if you decided to do your STPM, or you decided to do A-levels instead, and even matriculation, you will have your CGPA will be dependent on your final exams. But for us, your CGPA will be a mix of coursework 50% and final exams 50%. Coursework would include tests, quizzes, assignments, projects, and maybe even labs or practical work. And final examinations in the traditional sense would be the written final exams. However, due to the MCO, restricted movement order, the pandemic, and how things have changed in embracing the new normal, we are currently doing the 70-30 assessment, where 70% will be for coursework and the remaining percent will be for your final assessment in the form of an extended assignment. For further information on that, you will have to join UTP first, and then you will find out what it is. Okay. How are our classes done? We usually have, I'll tell you in the traditional sense first. Of course, we have lectures in large groups, and then we will have smaller groups for tutorials. What tutorials basically do is you will have more hands-on practice. If it's for the core subjects, you will get questions and you will learn how to answer those questions. If for English, tutorials will be more on hands-on activities again, like writing your essays or communication exercises and whatnot. Of course, you will also have, if you are a science or an engineering student, you will have lab works in block 19. You will later learn where that is. And for the technology and business management students, you will also have computer lab works to do your visual programming and other classes. So we have flipped classrooms, we have active learning classrooms, you also have the traditional lecture halls in UTP. This will depend on, one, the timetable, and two, the nature of the subject itself. However, again, because of the new normal, currently all our classes are online. We are using the big blue button on a platform called ULearn, which is UTP's platform for online learning, and we are also using Microsoft applications such as Microsoft Teams and others for our classes, such as our tutorials. At the moment, even our labs are virtual, but by next month we are expecting the first semester students into the campus. We are inviting them in. Only the first semester students and the final year students will be on campus beginning July. And for foundation studies, we are working on allowing our students to enter physical labs, because I think it is important for you to experience that. Okay, so what do you need to graduate from the foundation program? Now, like I said earlier, you have a conditional offer into the undergraduate program, right? So like I said, if you have been offered a foundation in engineering, chemical engineering, you will automatically proceed into Bachelor of Engineering, Chemical Engineering in UTP, provided that you meet the graduation requirements for the foundation program. So first of all, you must pass all the required courses within a given time frame. So minimum time you are given is 1 year, 3 trimesters, and maximum is 2 years, 6 trimesters. So we're not cruel people. We give you an opportunity if say something came up, God forbid an accident, or you need to extend 1 semester for family problems, or you struggled a little bit with certain subjects and you need to extend your studies, it is allowed, but within a time frame of a maximum of 2 years. You cannot, however, finish earlier than 1 year. You also have to complete all 50 credit hours. As I mentioned earlier, 49 is not going to cut it. You must complete 50 credit hours, and you have to obtain a minimum CGPA of 2.0, meaning minimum that you must score in foundation for all subjects is a C, 2.0. Of course, as a lecturer, we do not want our students to meet the bare minimums. We want you to push further, higher, and a 4 flat is not impossible. In fact, we have quite a lot of 4 flat students throughout the years. The most being in the 2018 batch, if I'm not mistaken. They finished their foundation studies with the most number of 4 flats. So progression into our undergraduate programs is about 96%. There might be a few here and there that do not make it for whatever reason, but most do. And most importantly, you do not need to reapply to our undergraduate programs. It's a seamless progression from the from the foundation studies to undergraduate once all criteria are fulfilled. So that's basically the academic side of Center for Foundation Studies covered. Next, we will discuss about student life itself. What is it like as a foundation student? Now for this, I'm going to talk from mostly personal experience as lecturer, as advisor, and also sometimes even as confidant, friends to my students. So the foundation program or pre-university is quite a unique stage of life. You are just out of school, but not yet an adult. Somewhere balancing between the two. So you feel like you're grown up, but at the same time you're learning to become more independent. And we at the center, we believe that it is our responsibility to make sure you get there as smoothly as possible. So besides the academic side, we also pay how do I say this, pay attention to the other side, the more human side of you. So yes, we want you to have good brains, but also we want you to have a good soul. So in UTP, our foundation students are not separated from our undergraduate students. So the facilities for foundation students and undergraduate students are all the same. You will share the same futsal courts, you will share the same tennis courts, you will share the same swimming pool, the same libraries, sometimes even the same classes. Now maybe you might be placed in different village. We call our hostels village for foundation students, but basically foundation students and undergraduate students are not separated. You have the same trimester systems, you come in at the same time, you leave at the same time as well. You share the same facilities, and not only that, you are also equally eligible to join all clubs and societies that the undergraduate students join. By this, we hope that you feel like you belong, because there are some places where the foundation students are separated. In schools, for example, Form 6 students are different from the other school students, because most schools now allow you to wear other than school uniforms for Form 6. So there's that slight gap between the two. And in matriculation, of course, it's just matriculation students throughout the entire campus, and later you will be separated into different universities. The same applies to certain ASASI programs or foundation programs in IPTAs, right? But in UTP, like I said, everything is commonly shared. So you are all equally UTP students, regardless of whether you are in foundation, undergraduate, or postgraduates. You are allowed to join the same competitions, you're allowed to participate in the same programs, the same events, and the same sports, etc. Whatever is on campus is for all our students. We do not discriminate. Okay, so that is basically what student life is about in UTP. However, of course, for foundation program, it will be academic heavy, because you will be making that transition from school where it was just half day to schools with foundation classes that could go from morning to late evening. Of course, there will be days when you don't have classes at all, or just 1 or 2 classes. But one of the things that I believe will be important for our foundation students is time management. And we do have counseling services to assist our students into easing their way into living the independent life, because we understand that for some of our students it's their first time away from home. So no mommy or no dad to wake you up, make sure you go to school, make sure you go to class, make sure you complete your homework, your assignments and whatnot. So foundation will be a little bit different. You will have more freedom in terms of time, but with freedom comes the responsibility of being an adult. And we at the center care for our students in such a way that we want you to be able to go into that next phase of life as an undergraduate later, and with minimal drama. Of course there will be drama. That's probably expected, and it's part of growing up, so don't worry. Alright, so that is the basics, basically what you can expect in your days in foundation studies. Now, when we talk about the center itself, CFS itself, we have our own club called the Ambassadors for Center for Foundation Studies, short form or better known as AceSpas. Now, AceSpas, technically all foundation students are automatically members of AceSpas. You're all ambassadors, you all carry the UTP foundation name, and like I said, you're all eligible to join anything that the university hosts. But we do have our high coms. We have the president, we have the vice presidents, we have the secretary, treasurer, and head of departments. Head of departments include head of sports, head of academics, head of welfare, among other things. So I will introduce later to our current AceSpas high coms, and we are currently recruiting new AceSpas members from our May 2020 intake. It's quite, how do I say this? It's quite humbling. It's quite good to know that we have plenty of students interested to join AceSpas. Now, I am especially proud of AceSpas because we give them a lot of work. Now, not to scare you or anything, but through AceSpas, I have watched a lot of students, apparently, being an English teacher, grow wings. They become the best versions of themselves, and AceSpas encourages leadership skills. So a lot of our AceSpas members later on become active members of the Student Representative Council. If not that, they will all usually hold positions in other clubs and societies in the university as well. You see, the beauty of UTP, although it's in Trono, which for many appears to be in the middle of nowhere, the beauty of that, or the good thing about that, is that there's less distraction from outside the campus. And when there's less distraction from outside the campus, our students get creative. Every year we have hundreds of events, from very small gatherings to big scale international events in the university. Of course, I'm talking about pre-pandemic, but now we are getting creative. Our students are finding ways to cope with the new norm, and our clubs and societies are still active, and we are still recruiting even foundation students. So AceSpas is our driving force behind the activities in foundation studies. We have given them responsibilities to manage Foundation Sports Day, Foundation Physics, Phicamatics Camp, Phicamatics Quiz, if I'm not mistaken, FAD Pro, these are all fancy names, but basically we have several events in foundation studies itself, FAQs, that recruits foundation students, and we give them the responsibilities, and a lot of times I am always surprised at how well they are able to deliver. You see, when you give students the trust and the responsibility, they just take it up and they shine. They really put their hearts to it. I will share some videos and some pictures of what our AceSpas have done throughout the years, and you will see why I am so amazed and why I love them so much. Oh God, when I talk about AceSpas, I think I feel a little bit differently. You know, academics is important, but it is also important to develop the human side of our students. We want our students to be balanced. We want you to be healthy physically and mentally as well. And we have all sorts of programs lined up for our students. 1 year might seem like a short time to fit in a lot of activities, but you will be surprised. We do not have a dull weekend. But on weekends that the students do not have activities, of course, they are free to travel outside the campus. Let me talk a little bit about UTP itself. Like I said just now, I think by now you will already know where UTP is placed and the nearby attractions, but I'm going to answer some frequently asked questions next, okay? All right. 1. Do all students have to stay on campus? Answer is yes, especially for foundation students. All UTP students are given accommodation in UTP on campus. So there's no need to worry about finding, nearby rentals, whether now as foundation or later as undergraduate students. Okay, so that's clear. Yes, you stay on campus, all of you. Second frequently asked questions, financial assistance. Now there will be a slot especially dedicated to financial assistance, but basically for foundation studies, the university itself has 2 main financial assistance in the form of Yayasan UTP and Tabung Amanah Zakat UTP. You will need to meet a minimum requirement for these. I will let the financial department talk about it later, but basically under Yayasan UTP we have Education Grant 100 and Education Grant 50, which is basically one is 100,000 maximum disbursement to cover full tuition fees, and the Education Grant 50 is a maximum disbursement of 50,000 ringgit Malaysia to cover tuition fees. So you will have a minimum requirements of what you need to achieve to be able to apply for the Yayasan UTP. And then we have Tabung Amanah Zakat, which is mostly for B40 and M40 Muslim students. Okay, so that's our main financial assistance. Of course, there are others, Petronas. I think our Petronas scholars will be joining in September. We also have a private scholarships such as Maybank. I think I have one student from Maybank, but I'm not sure if Maybank is still providing scholarships at the moment. Of course, PTPTN is also available for those who are eligible for it. Okay, so that's basically financial assistance. And next question. This is a favorite question lately, especially during MCO. Are sports allowed in UTP? Is the gym open? Yes, the gym is open, and yes, sports is allowed, but we will follow the SOPs provided by our Ministry of Health. So if I'm not mistaken, at the moment, contact sports like futsal, football, rugby is not yet allowed. However, badminton, tennis, jogging is fine, and we have a beautiful lake for you to jog around in UTP. Next question. Are foundation students allowed to drive? Now legally, yes, you're allowed to drive if you have a license. However, at the moment, we do not allow foundation students to drive on campus for their safety. Okay, that's the university rule. I do not make that rule. It's the university rule. For your safety, foundation students are not yet allowed to drive on campus. You are, however, allowed bicycles, skateboards if you want, penny boards, rollerblades, whatever suits your fancy. Those are allowed in certain areas of the campus. Most areas of the campus, actually. Okay. Does UTP have a dress code? Yes, we do. You can refer to the website. Basically, we encourage our students to dress appropriately, especially for class. Okay, how about transportation? Since you are not allowed to drive, UTP does provide buses to nearby Trono, Sri Iskandar, and even Station 18 during a set time. We also have a public bus going in and out. We have the KTM KTM in Batu Gajah, but there will be buses that take you there for those who wants to go back to KL. However, again, you can buy tickets online for the KTM trains. Alright, I think that's about it from me today. I would like to show you a video of testimonials from our previous students. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just type for Center for Foundation Studies. Thank you very much.
UTP's foundation program is offered by the Center for Foundation Studies and is the main feeder to our undergraduate programs in engineering, technology, science and business management. UTP's foundation program is conducted over a period of 1 year and has received the perpetual accreditation status from Malaysian Qualification Agency (MQA). Students will need to take 50 credit hours in 3 semesters, and after meeting all the requirements, the progression to undergraduate program of their choice is guaranteed. They can then proceed with their undergraduate studies seamlessly. There is no need to apply again. Let's hear from the current UTP students regarding our foundation program.
Hello Hello, my name is Noazrin Arisha binti Muhammad Zaidi as the President of Ambassador of Center for Foundation Studies. Every year, there are more than 1,000 students who join UTP Foundation Program. I choose UTP because UTP graduates are highly employable and they are the top choices of employers.
UTP is the #1 private university in Malaysia, and also UTP now ranked 82nd in Quest Asia University Ranking 2020.
Equipment that we have and the facilities in UTP. I really love the library where I spend most of my time studying there.
UTP has given me the lifetime opportunity to study in prestigious university in Malaysia. So now I need to study hard and hopefully I can give back in the future.
I got financial assistance from Tabung Zakat UTP or TAZU because I'm from B40 family. This sponsorship given is enough to cover my tuition fees and allowances. I'm very thankful for this priceless opportunity.
I am a Petronas scholar, and indeed it is a very prestigious scholarship, and I choose UTP because it offers the best engineering program.
UTP is a place that appreciates diversity, as we have a lot of students that come from different backgrounds, different races, different religion, different states, or even different countries.
UTP has one program offered to you, which is Student Exchange Program. You will be given chances to study at Europe, Asia.
Before joining UTP, I used to be a mischief guy who does not know how to manage my own time. And yeah, I always rely on tuition centers while doing my revision. And once I'm in UTP, I tend to be more disciplined, and I tend to learn on how to manage my own time.
The most stunning and interesting part in UTP is the library, which called IRC stands for Information Resource Center. It has a collection of more than 230,000 books and media.
Sport facilities over here, we have gym, we have swimming pool, we have tennis court, we have badminton court, a bunch of them, and we are not lacking out of any of these facilities.
There are 6 villages where you can stay inside, so UTP.
So in UTP, we don't just emphasize on our study, we emphasize on our soft skills like leadership.
Out of city area, so it is less restriction.
Most of the lecturers are actually linked with industries and so on, so we get to learn about new technologies and new styles from well-known industries like Petronas, Gamuda, Intel, and many others.
We are also encouraged to join different clubs or societies that have different kind of categories such as arts, sports, entrepreneurship, music, cultural, or so on.
You will not regret it. UTP now have 14 programs to choose from, including their new course, which is Material Engineering and Business Management. So come and join us. Apply now at www.utp.edu.my.
Choose UTP. This is the chance of a lifetime.
Guys, this could be a great platform for you to showcase your talent and achievement.
Explore more about UTP and more. I think it is more about life here. It is not totally about study. So please come and join us at UTP.
UTP also providing you 7 months internship. Sounds really interesting, right? So don't wait anymore. Come and join us. Go for UTP portal to sign in. And if you choose UTP, you are really choose the right path to your future and to achieve your goals.
Besides Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia, SPM, UTP also accept O-Level, IGCSE and other equivalent qualifications. Students can join us in January, May and September intakes. The lab facilities and other teaching and learning related facilities are the latest and is one of the best in the country. Parents, I hope you will consider UTP, and this will be your best investment for your child's education.